Well, we are back once again for episode 7 of The Last of Us, and I really ain't got much to say about this episode, so it is gonna be a really quick one. I think with this episode, I did find it quite boring. Well, it was definitely one of those episodes where there's not much, not much happening. I don't think it's a bad episode. It's still well written. It's just more of those ones that, I guess that they're kind of giving you a bit of room to breathe, because the next 2 episodes are going to be full on. They're going to be the non-stop episodes. So it's an episode that I'm fine with. I haven't got a problem with the episode. It's more of just, it was kind of, it's all right. It's all right. I ain't got complaints about it or anything like that. I have seen some of the criticisms of this episode, and still, I'm not pleased with the criticisms of this show so far. With this episode, it's had the same criticism as episode 3, which is, filler. It's filler. Apparently, this has just become a common, criticism of things now, is, well, it's filler. And, nobody tends to expand on that. Because something being filler isn't a bad thing. That doesn't make it bad. Although with this episode, I wouldn't call it filler. Because it's giving you, essentially a character episode. That's essentially what the episode is, and it's also giving you the backstory to that character, and also showing you the inciting incident of this entire show. That's the idea behind it. So I'm just kind of like, well, it's not filler, is it? And again, even if something is filler, that doesn't necessarily make it bad. It depends. What is it? Something in the filler that is bad. That's what makes it bad. But we've just had, again, the criticisms of this show so far. I've had a few criticisms of the show, but mainly the ones I do see online, I'm kind of like, no, I don't really think you got anything there. I really don't. But that's been like the main criticism. I would say, considering this, because this is a flashback episode, I would say episode 3, I had a lot more investment in that episode. I found the episode to be a lot more enjoyable than this one. Again, this episode's fine. It's just, it doesn't quite have the same impact that episode 3 did. So, I don't know if it just comes down to that. But again, it's not a badly written episode. It's fine. It's fine. It shows us the backstory of the character. Just characterizes a little bit more. That's mainly what the episode is. But we are going to go through it just briefly anyway, because as I say, there's not really much to comment on it. It's a fine episode. Nothing wrong with it really. It's just a bit boring. It's an episode where, I can understand people being bored by this. But yeah, it starts out with Joel, of course, being stabbed in the previous episode. And in this scene, he just tells Ellie to, just leave me. Go back to Tommy. Just leave me. And then the episode, then it goes into, of course, the flashback territory. And, I imagine most of us have played the DLC, so it's pretty much the exact, it's not that much different from what I remember. It's mainly just the same, and it sort of just plays into, with Joel telling her just to leave him, and it sort of plays into that, where you have, it's the same dialogue out of the Left Behind DLC that you get from, why am I blanking on her name now? That you get from Riley, where it's just like, they've both been bitten. So she's like, I see 2 options here. One option is, we just end ourselves, essentially. The other one is just keep fighting on. We can't quit. We shouldn't give that up. So that sort of just plays into Ellie deciding, fuck this. I'm not letting Joel die. I'm not going to leave him. So that's kind of the idea behind it. So it's effectively it's just the same as the game, really. There's not much difference here that I can put my finger on. But as I say, overall, it's there's nothing wrong with the episode. It's just quite boring. That's really all there is to it. It's just one of those, subjectively, it's just a bit boring to me. But again, it's not a bad episode. But as I say, I'm not that bothered by it for the fact that the next two episodes are going to be non-stop anyway. We've got the group that we're soon coming across, and then you have the final episode, and that's really, I'm hoping they do land, be able to land that last episode. That's really where I'll be looking for. So yeah, this is more of just the episode. It gives you a bit of room to breathe, and then the next two episodes we're going full force into the sort of finale stage of the story. But we've done that pretty quick. We've only been here 7 minutes. I think that's the quickest review I've ever done. But it's as I say, there's not that much to comment on. It's very, there's not much that happens. It's just, we're showing you how Ellie essentially got into this situation. It makes sense for them to put it here, considering you have Joel out of the game for a bit. I don't mean out of the game literally. I mean, he's been stabbed. So there's not much we can really do. So it does make sense to put it in this section. Otherwise, it'd just be, oh, Ellie goes and collects some tins of soup. We can't really do that for an episode. So, putting it here, it's fine. Not my favourite episode. It's probably my least favourite episode so far. I imagine the next two are probably going to be the best of the season. We're gonna have to wait and see on that. But again, not every episode is going to be up there. You've got to have at least one episode that's, it's middling. It's well written, it's fine, but it's not. I just didn't have a lot of investment in this episode. So that's really what it came down to. But I imagine I'll probably return to this episode at some point, because I will be doing a big overview for the entire season once it's done, mainly to cover some of the criticisms and that sort of stuff. So I'm probably going to go through this episode again at some point, probably next week once I've watched episode 8. So it will be interesting to kind of watch it at the same time as you're watching all the other episodes. So you sort of watch it as one kind of thing. Then it may come out, I'll have a bit more investment in it. That's really what I'll have to see. But hey, we've done it in just under 10 minutes. So that's probably a record for this channel. I'm not very good at, doing it in a nutshell. Generally, whenever I do a review, generally it's because it's bad shit I'm reviewing, so there is a lot to comment on. And speaking of bad shit, we're going to be back for Mando Season 3 tomorrow, so that's going to be dumb, is all I'll say. That would be my guess on how that's going to go. But yes, until next week, I'll be back with episode 8. I should be back Monday. I was a bit behind with this one. But I will see you next week for episode 8.